Coming to you live from a hotel room in East Rutherford, New Jersey. What is going on? I am Matt O'Leary, here to talk about whatever the hell that just was. Woof. Woof. Disgusting. Gross. Oh my God. Just the bar was set so low, by the way. It was literally just, hey, maybe don't be atrocious this year. Like that was the absolute only thing asked was like, don't be terrible. And this was about as bad of a performance as you could possibly get. I want to apologize if the Wi-Fi isn't great. Literally on Marriott Bonvoy Wi-Fi right now in my hotel room. I had to go live after the game because did not want to do a full video record and edit and just so we're gonna go through and talk about things that I liked. We're gonna go through and talk about things that I didn't like. We'll go through a therapy session and talk about, I'll pull up comments on the board. But first and foremost, want to give a shout out to the Jet Lounge and the Sack Exchange just in general, just for putting that together. Truly, truly phenomenal event. I was there for the tailgate. I hung out in the hangar. Richie was there, Green Bean, Ryan, Buffalo Jet fan, Jeremy, Jets Chaos. There was just so many people at this event. It was really, really well put together. Unfortunately, just watched the garbage game. That's the only unfortunate thing. But it didn't necessarily start out garbage. I thought the Jets, on defense at least, competed more than I thought they would in the first half. Offense was atrocious. They could not move the ball at all. They just struggled to move the ball all day long. The offensive line looked like they haven't played together all year, which is true. They haven't. Joe Flacco looked like an absolute statue and held on to the ball forever, too. I don't know what was going on. Brees Hall fumble, not good. But overall in the first half, like you were right there. The Jets were in that game, and then the second half comes out, and it turns into a bloodbath. I want to see if we could. Yeah, it was 10-3 at the half. You're in that game. You give up 14 points in the third quarter, and it's just over at that point. Some box score numbers that we'll go through before getting into the comments here and just overall other reactions from this game. Lamar Jackson finished 17 of 30 for 213 yards, 3 passing touchdowns, and a pick. He was good today. He didn't really run as much as I thought he would. 6 carries for 17 yards, and Mark Andrews had 5 catches, 52 yards, and no touchdowns. So one would think, okay, if you limit those two, the Jets probably should have fared well. And while I'll say it one more time, I think the defense was pretty solid. Offensively, they were just so bad. They didn't move the ball at all. The entire game was just mental mistakes and dumb things over and over and over again. The Jets held the Ravens to just 63 rushing yards, 21 attempts, 63 yards, 3 yards per carry. The leading receiver for Baltimore was Rashad Bateman, who had 2 catches, 59 yards. There was a lapse in judgment from LaMarcus Joyner, who I thought was really bad. There was a touchdown catch that Bryce Hall technically allowed, but I don't think it was bad coverage. I think that was a perfect throw and a beautiful catch. Lamar Jackson put that ball perfectly out there. As for what we saw out of Joe Flacco, oh my God, did he throw the ball a lot? 59 passing attempts for Joe Flacco in this game. Holy smokes. 307 passing yards. The voice is starting to go a little bit, so apologize in advance there. 5.2 yards per attempt, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 3 sacks, 12 yards. Michael Carter was solid today, even though he dropped a touchdown pass. Like just literally everything that could go wrong did go wrong. 10 carries, 60 yards. Brees Hall only 6 carries. That's shockingly low for 23 yards. Leading receiver was Corey Davis, 6 catches, 77 yards. Garrett Wilson wasn't really involved that much, but when he was, he was good. 4 catches, 52 yards. It's a really good debut. Elijah Moore, 5 catches, 49 yards. Michael Carter had 40 yards. Brees Hall had 38. Berrios, 5 catches, 37 yards. And Tyler Conklin, who had a touchdown, 4 catches, 14 yards. Fumbles. Oh, yuck. Brees Hall lost a fumble. It was ugly. It was really, really ugly. And the sad thing is that fans did not set the bar all that high. The bar for this game was hang around and be competitive, and they just weren't. They were, for the first half, I guess, okay, sure, you can make the case that they were at least a little bit competitive, but it's just really bad. Let's get to the super chats and all the comments in here. V Man, thank you so much for the super chat, much appreciated. Here's for the beer. I owe you. Wish we could have met. D looks good. Offense sputtered whenever they got anything going. LaFleur needs to work overtime to fix this. Only plus is we scored more than the Pats. Yeah, honestly, and that's great, but I don't really care. England all looked like shit. The Jets need to figure this thing out because they got blown out in their own building in their home opener again. They lost again, like really, really bad. It was atrocious. Again, there was no compete level. It was really, really frustrating. And I think everyone, the consensus was from the people in the Jet Lounge. And again, you have guys like, Ryan and Greenbean and, so many other content guys, Richie. We weren't asking for much. We weren't, all the ask was don't be awful. Like at least look semi-competitive. Oh God, it's just unbelievably frustrating. We're gonna go through the comments now for a little bit here. We're gonna hang out for a while. Appreciate you guys joining me here on this one. Again, voice is going. Sorry I couldn't meet you, V Man. I met a lot of really awesome people today. Again, shout out to the Jet Lounge. They put a phenomenal event on. What else we got? Oh yeah, here's a great comment too. Special teams suck too. Man sucks, and don't get me started on Zerloin. Great point. I mean, it's going to get overshadowed because of just how poor the offense was. But Greg Zerloin missing a field goal and missing an extra point, bad, really bad. And Braden Mann had 2 shanks. It's the guy made a couple nice tackles as a rookie and hasn't done anything since. Thomas Morstead should still be here, but the Jets drafted a punter in the 6th round, and he's here because of that. That's why. It's no good. Yeah, Indiana Jets, good one here. As bad as the O-line is, they were pretty rough today. Need a quarterback that can move. Joe Flacco was, again, sorry for the voice going a little bit, a long day at the tailgate and, being at the game and yelling and stuff like that. It just wasn't good. Need a quarterback that can move 100%. That's why I wanted to keep Chris Strevler around, is because I think it's important to have a guy who can move. I'm not saying, everyone has to be Lamar Jackson. That's not what I'm saying here. But at 38 or 37, 38-year-old Joe Flacco, whatever he is at this point, it's not going to do it. It's not going to cut it. I'm sorry. Comments are flying in. Here we go. Keeping the September losing streak alive. Yeah, it just feels like they dig themselves massive holes. It looks like they're going to start, 0-5 or whatever, and then, the season's over at that point. Hopefully you bounce back next week against a Browns team who I think blew their lead. I'm 99% positive. Last I checked when we were leaving the game, Carolina was up. So I don't know how that finished, but you got to be more competitive next week. Just have to. Anthony G says it's not as bad as most are saying. To be honest, he look good, and I trust Hall and Carter to not make these mental mistakes going forward. Special teams are still bad, and if Wilson is better, then a statue will be okay. Yeah, I hear where you're coming from. It's just extremely frustrating that they looked so uncompetitive. Again, like it's not the biggest ask from myself and just from other people in general is don't get blown out, be competitive, and they scored 9 points. Essentially 3 for most of the game. You had a drop touchdown, you had fumbles, just dumb things that shouldn't continue to happen. Hey, at least Zach wasn't thrown to the wolves for this. We'd all rip him to shreds. I don't think the game would have been as bad. I think they would have at least had a little bit more of a chance to move the ball because he's not statuesque. So I don't know. Oh, what are we doing? Corey Davis is ass, and Mike LaFleur has no idea what he's doing. Everyone was just praising Mike LaFleur last year, and after one game, we're going to throw it out the window. Did I think he was great today? No. Corey Davis had a brutal drop early in the game. He played a little bit better after that, but just the amount of balls that he drops is truly baffling, and he's playing like someone who is bound to get cut at the end of the year. Prestige Shogun is right. Jets could have won the game, changed my mind. The offense left. The defense gassed by the time they did anything half useful. Yeah, it's it's a shame because the defense was really good in the first half. How they somehow held that Ravens team to just pretty much they were gifted a 7 spot or points. Was it the 3 or the 7? I forget. But the Joe Flacco interception, they were gifted that possession in great field position. The Jets defense held really, really strong. And the offense didn't do anything for most of this one. Mr. D, thank you for the super chat. I don't see if you have a comment in here. If you do, I will try to get it up. I appreciate the support, my man. Mr. D. Oh, here we go. I know this is a mute question, but why didn't they keep Josh Johnson? Excuse me. I thought he was good. Also, I just think they need to play more. They'll be better moving forward. Yeah, I mean, it can't get worse. They really can't do a worse job than what we saw today. It just was not. I don't know. It wasn't a consistent effort. It really wasn't. I agree. I thought Josh Johnson was fine. Where is he now? Denver, I think maybe. He's bounced around the league a ton, but he was fine. I think. Look, Flacco, yeah, technically threw for over 300 yards, but was it a good day for Joe Flacco today? No, it really wasn't. Why didn't they see that Flacco wasn't and isn't it and pulled him at the half and put White in? Yeah, I mean, people were chanting for Mike White to come in. I don't know if it would have made a difference. I could say that I don't know. It couldn't have been possibly worse than what we were seeing. So, yeah, I mean, I would be surprised if they decided to go to him just because I feel like this team really likes Joe Flacco. The staff and Joe Douglas really, really believe in him. I'm not saying that I do. I'm not saying that I agree with it, but this staff, they really like Joe Flacco a lot. So, yeah, I'd be surprised if we see a quarterback change next week. What else we got? Okay, yeah, we could do some positivity. All 3 first-round picks looked good. Yeah, Sauce I thought was solid. Garrett Wilson went on the field was good. I don't know why they didn't use him nearly enough. I feel like that's going to be an unfortunate theme this year. We're going to be talking about why is Garrett Wilson not being utilized more. We saw what he did with the ball in his hands. He's a dynamic player, and I thought Elijah Moore was underutilized at times during this game too. Josh Johnson. Not Josh Johnson. Oh my God, I got Josh Johnson on the brain. Jermaine Johnson, excuse me, picked up a sack or at least a half a sack on Lamar Jackson, which was good. And Sauce, again, solid. White is stationary too. The spark is Strevler. I don't necessarily disagree with this, but I just think they answered that when they kept Mike White on the roster and put Strevler on the practice squad. I think that gave you their answer of their quarterback ranking in the pecking order. Again, Jonathan, I don't necessarily disagree with you, but Chris Bradigan says, do you think it would have been a closer game with Wilson? I think the offense would have had more of a chance to be competitive because Wilson could at least move around. Yeah. So I would say yes. I definitely think so. So much for all the Zach haters saying Flacco is better. Yeah, he's not 1998 Vinny Testaverde. That's not happening. That was never really going to happen, but that storyline was silly to begin with, I think is a fair way to say it. Clemens even looked great. He did. Clemens had a few pressures in the game. I thought he was noticeable when he was on the field, which is a good thing. The Jets defensive line in general, I thought had a really good day. Let's see. Giving him Mims treatment, I guess, with this on Garrett Wilson. Yeah, I suppose that's the case. That's extremely frustrating, but not great. Oh, get this user out of here. Finn's down bad. There's no way in hell Zach can be out until week 4. I won't survive. Yeah, if we have to watch 3 more, or 2 more even, Joe Flacco starts, it can't be good. Jimmy says, "I'm sure Matt, Ryan, and Green Bean can coach better with this talent." I think so. In the stands during the game, we were all talking to each other. We thought so too. Blue Collar News says, "Don't worry, Giants are getting hammered too." That's not super surprising. I haven't seen any of the 4 o'clock scores. Literally just got back to the hotel, made a thumbnail, was like, "Oh yeah, 10-0. Vikings up 7-0. Chiefs are up 13. Any surprises? So Saints won by a point against the Falcons. Bears upsetting the 49ers, I feel like it's a surprise. Steelers upsetting the Bengals. Wow. Eagles barely hang on to the Lions. Lions put up 35. Good for them. Dolphins beating Patriots, not too surprising. Commanders beat the Jaguars 28-22. Wow, Browns ended up winning 26-24. The Colts and Texans tied. Oh, that's hysterical. Oh, man. I thought Sauce did well. I thought he was good today. Wasn't targeted a ton. And when he was, he made a really nice play on the ball. I forget who he was covering. It might have been one of the times he was covering Mark Andrews, which I was surprised with. But I thought he was solid. Michael says best part of the game was the fans singing the anthem. Yeah, the pregame stuff I thought they did a really good job with. Obviously, emotional day in the New York, New Jersey area, and I thought it was handled really well. I'm assuming the Quinnen Williams even play? Where the hell was he? He had a pass deflection early on in the game. I thought he was around. The whole defensive line I thought was good. The issue was just for me, I think was more on the offense than any of the defense. Joe says rookies look good. If they stop with the turnovers, they're a competitive team. It was just a lot of dumb things. The rookies did look good though. That's definitely a plus. Jordan says got to start Mike White in Cleveland. I don't think they do. I don't necessarily disagree, but oh, sorry, I wanted this one. Matt, we need to start your dog at right tackle. Casey at right tackle would be phenomenal. I'm in on that. I don't. Amir says I don't usually say much, but they just look like the same old Jets to me. Flacco just can't play. You need a baller quarterback in this league, and Flacco isn't that. Thanks for the content. Appreciate it. Excuse me. They definitely do need a playmaker at the quarterback position, and hopefully we get to see Zach back soon. Let's get to the super chat. Sorry. Here we go. Thank you again, Mr. D. Says, I like the way the Jets D played. Offense will catch up. Also, so glad Ukraine is beating the Russians. That I did not see. Really have been off the phone a lot today. So I really wasn't trying. I mean, I was trying to keep up with other things, but not nearly as much as I do when I'm home. That's one of the downsides of going to a game is I feel like I miss so much that goes on in the NFL throughout the day. And just, obviously in sports in general. But the defense I did thought, they played pretty solid, but you just have to take advantage. Like special teams can't be that bad and the offense can't be that bad. Melvin says, why wasn't Huff on the field? Good question. I definitely, I was there, so it's not like I was on my phone or like on my computer looking up snap counts, but I didn't really notice him. Um, again, it's going to be hard for me. I like Bryce Huff, but it's going to be hard for me to complain about the defense today. Did he? Melvin says Salah finally showed some frustration in the presser. I haven't seen it, so I'm gonna have to take a look after I hop off. um, yeah, I mean he should be frustrated. It's embarrassing the effort that his team put out today. La, 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 la. J Boy says, get ready for 0-3 record. There's no way Joe wins a game with the way he plays. I hope Zach turns it around. Um, I mean, if he repeats his performance from today, that's probably fair, but I don't want to write off the next two games before we get there. But yeah, it was pretty rough. Brian chimes in with a super chat. I'm offering you my season tickets for your PS5. LOL. Pass. Hard pass. I can't do this every week. Um, I hate going to MetLife Stadium. Honestly, I do. I don't like it. I'd rather watch the game from home. Um, I do it maybe once a year for a regular season game and then either a preseason game or usually the green and white scrimmage. But since I was away for when the green and white scrimmage was this year, I decided to go to a preseason game. But there's no way. Like I couldn't do this more than once a year. Indiana Jets says running back Carter had a pretty good game. He did outside of the dropped touchdown, which I mean that's obviously not good, but Michael Carter did look explosive. Matthew says, honestly, the defense played great. Corners looked really impressive, and we only really looked bad at safety. Joe Flacco is probably the only thing holding us back. The offensive line, too, and special teams, I would also include. Do you miss Eddie Pinheiro? LOL. I mean, today we did. Today you definitely did. You had two misses, and obviously the weather I think played a factor. But Joseph wants Strevler activated. As much fun as that would be, I highly think that I don't think that's happening. Uh, Tyler says Joe Douglas needs to fix the small things like kicker, punter, and backup quarterback because they really hinder his other additions. I mean, the lack of depth, the offensive line looked bad again today, and it feels like the Jets don't want to put Zach Wilson out there behind a makeshift offensive line, which it's part of the reason is it's his fault for not getting necessary depth. After you brought in Dwayne Brown and Mekhi Becton was hurt, they needed to add another offensive tackle, and they didn't. Oreo asks, "What is my biggest concern going forward?" I don't know. I don't have one right now. I don't have just one. I was really, I guess, the effort uh, from the coaching staff on down. Just need a more consistent effort. Man's punt did wreck that game. He was really bad, and it's time that a portion of this fan base realizes that he's just not a good punter. Here we go. Joyner was burnt toast. Flacco patted the ball way too much. He did. The O line was awful. Mitchell didn't know the blocking assignment. Man should be cut, and Greg should have a kicking battle. So get someone else in here. I have time for a few more, and then I'm gonna hop out of here. Have you watched? Have you watched? We've been very critical of them. I don't think this is fair. I don't think the touchdown that he gave up was his fault. It was a perfect throw from Lamar Jackson and an unbelievable catch. I don't think Bryce Hall had an awful game against Atlanta in the preseason, and obviously not allowing a touchdown today was bad. But um, I don't look at him as a liability. I don't think that was his fault. I texted a friend and said the game is going to get out of hand as soon as man shanked that punt. That was a brutal, brutal, brutal punt. You're welcome, Sean. Thank you for your honesty and positivity. Appreciate the dedication and allowing us to vent. Yeah, we get after it in the comments. I'm good with that. It's look, it's a frustrating day. I think we deserve to get it out. Singing Preacher says, just left the game, Matt, sitting at Newark Airport waiting to go home to Florida. Was surrounded by Ravens fans all afternoon today at MetLife. Sad. It is sad. I don't I don't blame Jet fans for that, though. I don't. And I'm not necessarily that's what saying what Singing Preacher is. It's just they don't give us a reason. Like the Jets don't, they haven't given you a reason to come out in droves. Why? For what? They've been bad for so long. So there was a lot of Ravens fans where we were too, and a few rowdy ones. Let's see what else we got. Oh, Brian says, call an Uber and run me over, please. Oh boy. I'm sorry, Brian. I know you're struggling out there, man. It's no good. Luckily, so I think you guys know the story. If you follow along with me, you definitely do. Last year when I went to the home opener, it took over 4 hours to get back to Long Island, and I said never again. So I'm staying in a hotel tonight. Thomas Cahill is very down on management. He says the Jets will never win with this management. I mean, yeah, people are down bad. Nick W says, yo, it was great meeting you and Green Bean. Thank you so much for coming up and saying hello. It was awesome to meet so many different people. I loved seeing Green Bean. I don't get to see him nearly enough, or Ryan or Richie or all the guys, but it was really cool to meet up with everyone. That was definitely the highlight. A couple more in here. Okay, this is a bit much, I think. Can we all just expect 0-17 this way that we can never be disappointed with a loss? Okay, you know what? Never mind. I take it back. I take that back. It's not that he's saying they're going to go 0-17, but just the expectation thing. That's fine. Let's see what else we got here. Nick People says, I'm starting a Jets channel called Jets Therapist. I love that. That's a great name. And we'll end on this note. Uncle D says, time to cash in, Jet fans. Start betting against them. There you go. It's that's one way to hedge your fun. Bet against your team so that if they win, you're happy because your team won. But if they lose, there's the silver lining that, hey, at least you got a little bit of cash. So that's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for tuning in on this post game. Kind of back to normal after this. Need to rest the voice up, but enjoy the rest of your day watching football. If you were there and came up to me and talked with me, I really appreciate it. It was really awesome to meet so many different people. I'm Matt O'Leary, and hopefully we see something better next week. Bye, guys.